So now it's time to create the post page functionality. So if you go here in our page, remember, if I want to try to view some page, suppose we have all these edits and all these things. So if I go and edit, I try to edit this page, I'll just add one more updated, and then we have new. Okay, and then when I update this post, I get this random post too, but I want to display it here. I want to have that end result. So let's create that page now. So if we want to do that, first of all, we have to go to our pages. So we got to go to the let's close all of this out. So close all this and go to the pages. So right now you see in the components, we have over here in the pages, we have create post, right? We have to create a one which is called post page. So this is going to be called post page.jsx. Okay, so now we could just simply have raf c here, and we could just copy this. Okay, so we could have just have post page here. So one second. Okay, so post, and then we have page. Now I want to add this into our app.jsx file. So over here in the app.jsx file, you could just add it just like our route, which was for the projects, because this is public route. Anyone could view it. So you could just have route. Remember, this is the footer component here, and then this is the route's closing tag, and in here we have projects. We could just call this as post, and then in here we have a slug for each post, so post slug, like that. Okay, so this is how this post will be uniquely defined, and it's good for SEO purposes. Why we're not getting the IDs, we're getting the post slug. It's good for SEO. If you go to the element, it's going to be called post page. Okay, and you could simply import it like that. Oh, come on. There. So now if we go here, we have post page, perfect, like that. Go to the post page again. Now we have post page, which is well structured here. Go to the, we got the post page here. It's good so far. So now what we want to do is we want to have to style this up. Let's go and go to the post page, and first of all, we're gonna have to basically get the URL. If you go here, you have this post, and then we have this slug, right? Random post 2. We have to get the slug. So to get that, it's super simple and easy. Remember, we use params. So we have import use params, okay, from, and then we have React router DOM, and then we have over here. So we simply could say const post slug, and then we have use params, and then in here, what we could do is, we could just capture that. We captured the post slug, and we could show it in a use effect. So if I put in a use effect hook, and I'll show you the whole process here, so just one second. Okay, so every time the post slug changes or something, so we basically have this use effect. So let me just show you this post slug right now. You'll see it on my console. Right now I have no use effect. Oh yeah, that's the issue. I have to import this use effect, and now go here, inspect console. You'll see render post 2. You see that? Nice. Refresh this, and then random post 2 is there. Good. So now we have that. We could remove this, and we have to now work on this. So post slug is good. I mean, what we want to do is we want to have in the use effect, we want to basically, first of all, create a function that's going to fetch the API. And we can't do asynchronous because we can't have a use effect with async, right? And we have to call our API endpoint. So we use try and catch. In the catch part, we'll have some errors defined. But for now, let's go to the try part. And over here, essentially what we'll have is, if we go here, we'll have some states defined. So there's this use params, but we'll have some states for loading. So, and then we have set loading, and then we have use state, and essentially the loading could be set to true. We gotta also have, why did I write import const, and then we have a const error, set error. Okay, I wrote 3 R's, error, and then we have set error, and then we have use state to null, or you can basically say false. Okay. The same thing goes for the post. So this is the state where we're gonna save our post, where we get our from the slug. So set post, and then we have use state, and then we have that set to null. Okay, and then we have so we have post, set post, and then we have use state to null. I mean, this is so good. We could put our post in here, and right now what I'm gonna do is, over here in the try. So essentially what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set the loading to true. Right now we have set loading to true. This is awesome. The reason why I'm set loading to true is because once we start this use effect, we're gonna make this loading to true. It could be set to false when some other previous round maybe it's not working, or when it's done. So that's why I'm setting it to true. I'm gonna have this API call, which is const response is equal to await, and then we have fetch, and then we have backtick slash API slash post slash, okay, so get post. Now where are we getting this API? Remember when the controllers, if you go to this post.controller.js, remember this get post that you created earlier? Get post. So we had this, remember this query, custom query that we created, which has this slug parameter. So we could give a slug query, and it could give us the slug post based on that slug. So that's exactly what we want to do. So that was called get post, and we could just say a/API/post/get post, and then we have a question slug, which is the query, custom query, is equal to the dollar post slug, which is over here. Now this is coming from this use params. Okay, so we have this which is really good, but one thing which is missing, is a function, which is const fetch post. Okay, this is going to be the function, and it's going to be an asynchronous function like that, is equal round bracket, and then we have equal to, and then we have this to bring all of this stuff in here like that. Okay, so the problem here is that this should be like that, and then we should call it like this. Okay, so right now what you could see here is, okay, so I basically made mistakes here. One thing is that I didn't have to have this try like that, so it's better to remove all of this. Okay, this is good. This is how it should look. Okay, and then in here, in this fetch post, you basically have the try and catch. Try and catch. Come on, try and catch. And then in here, you could put this stuff in the try, like that. Okay, so we have this post. It's going to give us some response. We convert that to data. Const data is equal to await response. Okay, and then we have, if the check of the response is not okay. Okay, if that happens, we have some states that we basically define. So we could just say set error to true, and then we have set loading to false, and then we have the last one, which is just return. Okay, and then if we have a good response, if we say response.okay, okay, so this is set post, and then that to data dot posts sub I. Now what do you mean by this? Let me explain the reason why I'm saying set post, and then we have data. Look at this. We have the set post, and this is our state. Remember set post right here. But one thing is that, remember this data. Well, this is coming from this get post. If you remember, this returns some kind of post. So if you see over here it says posts, right? It returns more than one. Even if it's a single match, it will still return posts. So to make sure that you only get one, is you could say that you got the data dot posts. Okay, it's going to be posts, not post. So post, and then in here we have the first one. So that's exactly how we get that. Again, we could set loading to false because we are finished with this call and successfully done. And then we could have, well, okay. So then we have is a set error, and that you could set to false as well. Okay, that's good. I mean, everything looks nice. And then over here, in the catch part, we have set error, and then we could set the error to true. Okay, so Yeah, we could basically set the error to true, like that. And then we could have the set loading to false, like that. So set error to true, set loading to false. Everything looks good and really crystal clear. So if it's an error, we have the true and then loading to false. Okay, great. So now that everything is done, we could essentially have this format document. Okay, so you get this post. Now it's in this state which is called set post something, set post, and you could basically have this fetch post doing that, and essentially you could console.log the post. So console.log post. I will show you one thing. So what's happening is that right now you have issues. So the first issue is that use state is not defined. So you could basically define that simply by saying use effect, use state, and now we have this done. Clear that. Okay. So we have null now. See this problem? Null. Why is this happening? If you go to the network, we had this get post slug random, right? Random post 2. Okay, we got the post. You can see this is the random post. I guess the title random post 2. Yeah. But the problem is that we got the response and we got all of this, right? We also get this in advance as well, but we got the only first one. And in the preview, in the payload, what we do is we have to basically receive that as a console. Okay, we're getting a null. So what I believe is maybe my console log should be out. So let me see. Use effect. Use effect, where are you? Okay. Yeah. So cut this. Paste it here. Okay, so now check this out. So now you get the post. You see that? You get the post and you have all this information. So category, content, and this is beautiful. Now exactly what we want to do is we could use this and populate it in our program. This page. So this is super easy. We have this return div, and we could change this div to basically main, just to have this good SEO. Okay, and also one other thing I wanted to tell is that we could actually add a spinner when we are fetching. So we could just say right after the use effect, we could have if it's loading, right? We could have a return, and then we have so we could have this round bracket return, and in here we have div, and then in here we have class name, and then we have flex, and then we have justify center. Okay, justify center, items center. This is our spinner basically. Minimum height screen. I wish I could. Well, let me just show it. Anyways, so over here we have this. Okay. So yeah. So over here we have minimum height, and then we have screen. So we got 160 kind of issue over there too, but no worries. Right now, let me see. So if it's loading, we have this flex, justify center, items, and then we have item minimum height screen. And in here, what we could say is a spinner coming from size equal to XL. This is basically from flow byte React. See all that? Yeah, I saw that. We saw that spinner. Okay, so why is this not working? Let's look at the inspect console. We don't have any issue here. So we have Okay, yes, exactly. So over here we have the minimum height screen. I mean, everything looks good, but in here we have to add that minimum height screen as well. So let's just put that on the side. Put this over here. Okay, so over here, if you go to the, okay, just add this on the right like that. Okay. So over here we have main, and then we have class name. We have padding of 3. That's good. And then we have flex column to make to have them on top of each other. Yeah, so max width of 6XL. Just gonna improve this. Okay, and then we have MX auto to make it centered. So after that we have minimum height screen. Now you're gonna see the effect. So you're gonna see the footer push down over here. Okay, good. So in here, we'll just remove this. So in here we have, return, and then we have this main. So I could actually have, this round bracket, and this round bracket could close here. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So right in here we have an h1 tag, and we could have the h1 saying, basically we have the post. Okay, if the post exists, and then you could say post dot title. See that random post updated. So that's just, we could test it out with any kind of post. Let's go to our profile. We go to our posts. So let's go here. Basically you could see any other post. They're all random, to be honest. But yeah, third random post. You see that? All of them have been affected here. So now if you go to the head one, I mean, that's good. After the heading, we have the link. And over here we have 2. And here we'll have backticks / update. So we have search. This is where we're going to have our 1 minute category. And then we have equal to, then we have post dot category. Now the thing is, this is going to be the categories, remember? And in here we have class name set to self-center, and then we have margin top of 5. Okay. So of course, let's close this, and we don't have link tag, so we have to import that. And we also need to add the thing inside here. So, what it's going to exist is actually a button which is going to have the post category. So basically, it's like post. If the post exists, you could add in post.category. So check this out. See this? It's JavaScript. It was part of the styling. So put it as a button, so you can have a flow by button, and put it in here. I believe it's flow by. Okay, so over here we could now you can see it's a flow by button color. You could change it to whatever you want, gray, and then you could have the pill. This will make it rounded, and then we have sizes extra small, so XS. This is good. After the link tag, I mean, this is just for adding that. So it's a search, question, category, and then we have JavaScript, and it's going to give all the posts related to JavaScript. So that's exactly what we want to do later on. That's why I added that. So now we could add the image of the post, have an image, and close the image tag like that. Okay. So the image tag has a source. So source has if there's a post, and then add the post dot image like that. So yep, there's the image of the post. Okay, and then we have alternative, and then if the post the post doesn't exist, come on, post, and then we have post dot title. Okay, and then we have class name. Fix up this image. First of all, you can put the margin top of 10. Looks a little separated. Then you have the padding of 3. Looks better. Then we have the maximum height. Maximum height is 600 pixels. Basically, you could put in like that. And then you basically have width of full. And then you have object cover to maintain the aspect ratio. Great. So that's our image. I think that's good. Now we have another div, and in this div we'll have minutes read, like how much time it will take to read this. So why do we okay, so in here we have div, sorry, okay, so in here we have a div, and we'll have a span tag, and this will be called so if there's post, then awesome, then you go and forward and say post dot created at. So check this out. You have this random date that's from the database. We don't like that at all. So we could fix this up by using new date. So we say new date, put this inside post dot created at, and then we have to convert it. So we say to locale date string, and now look how nice that looks. See that? Same thing goes for the other one, and this is going to be the span tag for how long it takes to read the article. So you could basically have this as, we could get the description. So first of all, post, and we have the post content. So post dot content dot length. You basically get the length, you divide it by 1000. For each 1000 characters you could multiply it, right? So 1000 characters dot, so divide it by 1000, you'll get like a decimal. You could have it 2 fixed, and then you put a 0 so that it doesn't give you a floating point. And you could have minutes read right here, so minutes read. Okay, now check this out. So we have, after this, it's like, I don't know. So let me just fix this up. So over here we have this div. We could separate this out using class name, and then we could make it as flex. Okay, justify between, and flex. So we have justify between, and then we have so over here we have justify flex, and then we have justify between, and then we have padding of 3. I thought I was gonna space it out. So something like missing here. Padding of 3, border of B, and then we have border slice, border slate. So over here we have a slate of, let's suppose 500, and then we have an MX auto, and then we have a width of full. Okay, so this is all there, but still, I mean, it's not applying for some reason. There could be something that's missing here. Let's see, inspect in the console. We have some issue. We have React. Okay, class name. So it says over here in the console.js, where are you coming? React does not recognize the class name prop on the DOM element. If you are intentionally want to appear in the DOM as console.log 213. I don't even know where it is, bro. Where are you even talking about? Where is this coming from? Is it coming from the use effect? Don't know, to be honest, right now. It's just a warning, and then we have no routes matched, and then we have. So let's just refresh this page. Okay, and then if you look over here, maximize. I mean, this is the third random post, and you basically have all of that. So we basically have some other stylings that we could do. So what I wanted to show is that we could add the description as well. So after this div, I'll fix that later on because there's something wrong with the styling. But how do I get the content, right? So I could get the content using a div. So I'll put a div tag, and in here we could have a class name, and that could be just padding 3, just for now. And then we have in here another attribute, and this is called dangerously set inner HTML, and we have underscore HTML. Whatever that coming, the post thing is coming, that's also HTML. You know that. So post dot content, basically display all of that content here, and this is a third random post. This is the description actually, and it would actually display everything. So that's how you basically achieve that thing. I'm gonna just add in some styling here so that everything else just seems to be okay. So let's just have this copied, and I'll just explain one by one what's happening. So we'll have this pasted, and then hopefully over here we have some issues. Yeah, we got an issue here right on bat. So over here we got a main issue. What we need is a main. So we have a main, and I think everything else. Okay, so over here you can see we have the third random post heading. So you can see over here, this heading has, so you see main tag has this flex call on top of each other, and then we did all this. And then in here we have this heading text 3XL, margin top 10, and then we have font serif, and then font text center, and then all that. Max width 2XL, MX auto, and then we have LG text 4XL. Okay. Then we have the post title. We have this nice looking link tag that has this button of JavaScript. Click on it, it goes to the search. We could later on add. Then we have this image looking really nice and sharp, and then after that we have this div. Inside this div we have this flex justify between and padding 3, and then exactly the time it took, time when it was created, and how long it would take to read it, because right now this is nothing, to be honest. When it's pretty long, 0 minutes read, meaning it's not going to take you that many minutes. This is a third random post. When it's like more than 1,000 plus characters, then it's going to give you, like, for 1,000 it's going to give you 1 minute. So you'll understand through this formula like that. Okay, so now after that we have this div class name, and then we have this dangerously set inner HTML, and this is how pretty much it's done. One thing I wanted to say is that you could actually modify the inner HTML, not from here, dangerously set inner HTML, but you have this post content. This is actually a pure CSS styling. So you could go to the index.css. Over here you could actually just add in this target. So you could just target the post content, and you could basically edit it from there. So post content, you could say dot because it's a class name, and then in here we could have suppose if I want the post contents paragraph, so say paragraph, and I want the color, so I could just say margin, so margin bottom, and then we have 0.5 rem. This is a custom style, and you can see how it basically changed. That's really nice. I'm just showing you that everything you could achieve is just random color, and it's random color. So you basically could change that HTML, which you dangerously set like this, because you got all this. It's basically storing the content in an HTML format in our database. Okay, and we get that and we bring it like this, and to style it we use index.css, target a class, post content we name it by ourselves, and then in the index.css we define any kind of styling that we need to apply with it. Okay, so you know, I'm just gonna add some custom styles here. You could, it's optional to you guys, whatever you want. So right now these are some of the custom styles that I want for the H1s, for the paragraphs, for the heading 2s, and then the anchors, and then if you hover over a link, then it should underline it. And for dark mode, you should have it displayed to red. So that's really good. And if you maximize the screen, you can see this is the nice looking post page for the article, and you could change it up and accordingly. Now we're gonna have to add it. This is the thing, and then the description would be over here. We're gonna add now later on is a call to action, and maybe a section where people could add comments to different posts. So that's gonna be the next parts. Now it's time to add a call to action to our blog post. So you can see over here we have a blog post and we have some short description, but after your blog finishes, you want to have a small call to action where a person could basically download a specific application from like a website, or maybe go to a different blog website or some other dedicated YouTube channel link, or anything like that. So that's just a call to action. We'll add a component here in our front end. So we'll go here and we'll call this as call to action.jsx. Okay, so what we're gonna do is simply raf c. Okay, and now we could just have call to action here. So let me just tab here and call to action like that. Now that everything is done, we could go to the post page. So go to the pages and go to the post page, which is right here, and bring it over here. So what you want to do here in the post page is right after this div, which had the the text coming for the description, what you want to do is you want to add a post page bottom. You want to have a div that accommodates the call to action. So right now, let me just maximize the screen. You'll see that div that I have, but inside here we want the call to action component added. Okay, we're going to basically import that. Okay, so now you could actually see that there's the call to action. You want to now center it a little, so add just a class name. So class name, and you could basically go with the appropriate class name, which is going to be max width of 4XL, and then you could have the MX auto to make it centered. Okay, and then you have width of full. Okay, that's good. I mean, for now it's okay. It's not going to be fully centered, but now you got the point where we could make our call to action. Go to the call to action now, because we already added this. So we go to the call to action and we just have to complete this. And it's super simple and easy to follow. So what you got to do is, first of all, you go inside this div. Let me just go ahead and put this on the right and put my code on the left. And now what you would see is you simply have an H2 tag. So in H2, okay, so the H2 would have want to learn more about something, or want to learn more about JavaScript. Let's just say JavaScript. You could just change it later on. Okay, so want to learn more about JavaScript, you basically could have a call to action there. So you could just have a paragraph here, and this could say check out these 100 or these resources with 100 so check out these resources with 100 JavaScript projects. Now, of course, this is, the creator of this application is Sahand, so the original. So that's why I would, stick with the promotional link of Sahand's website. So essentially what you want to do is you want to add in a button right here, right after the paragraph. Okay, now you want to import this button from Flowbyte. So now you could see that we have this, want to check out more, then you could go basically 100 JavaScript projects. Now, one other thing here is you could just change this purple to pink, or you could say, you know, purple to yellow. I don't know. It doesn't exist. Purple to red. Purple to blue. Okay, I like that. Then we have class name. You could have a outline. You know, essentially, and everything else looks good. Now we have this button, right? But this div has to have a specific class name. So what I would do is, you know, in the div, we paste in this. Okay. Now you would see that there's a div that wraps around this entire. Okay. So there's this div, but we want a separate parent div that goes here. Okay. So, you know, you can basically format document like this. Now you could add in some styling. So right here, you added some styling just to make it flex call, small row, and you know, padding 3XL and all this. To just make it centered, looks good. So now you have that, you know, parent div, and in here you have, you know, the first div. Second div would be for the image. So, you know, this is the first div. Flex 1, justify center, and the same thing goes for the div 2. Over here you could basically have so we have flex 1, justify center. Sorry. We have a padding. So over here we'd have a class name, and then in here we're going to just have this. Okay. So now this means that this would be on the left, this first div, and this would be on the right, equally distributed using flex 1. Okay. I think it's very neat. So what we're going to do is now have this image tag right here and add some random image. So you can see over here, this is just a random image from Google, and now they're perfectly aligned, and you know, this is basically how it would look like. Okay, so I mean, we're pretty much done. So format document, and that's our call to action. So, you know, that's basically our call to action. Now under this call to action, like you can see over here, we have this want to learn. Okay, so let's just add a little bit of styling within the heading, because I know it's a little cramped. So what would you do with the heading? You could just say class name, and you could have, you know, text is equal to 2XL. Same thing goes for the paragraph. You could have class name is equal to text hyphen gray hyphen 500, and then we have margin of Y, which is 2. This is gonna make it a little spaced out. The button, you know, has its own class name, and I think everything else looks good.